Good morning, dear students. I welcome you to this video lecture. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss a poem prescribed for your compulsory English syllabus. As far as TYB compulsory English is concerned, you are supposed to study a poem written by Alfred Lord Tennyson, and the poem is entitled as The Charge of the Light Brigade. So it is essential to understand the age, the period, and the writer who has composed this poem. So Alfred Lord Tennyson belongs to the Victorian age, and we know that Victorian age or Victorian period of literature stands between 1832 to 1901. So Queen Victoria came to the British throne in 1837, and after 1837 to till her death, she ruled the British Empire. So this was the age of arrival of science, this was the age of arrival of industrial revolution, this was the age of capitalism and materialism. So Alfred Lord Tennyson is one of the representative poet of Victorian age. So Alfred Lord Tennyson was born in 1809 and died in 1892. In 1927, in year 1827, Alfred Tennyson joined Trinity College, Cambridge in year 1827. So Alfred Tennyson joined Trinity College. Then in year 1829, he joined the Apostle, an undergraduate club at Cambridge. Here, at this club of undergraduate, he met a person named Arthur Hallam, and the influence of Arthur Hallam can be found in the writing of Lord Tennyson. So his dear friend, close friend Arthur Hallam, at the age of 22, died. It was year 1833. After the death of Arthur Hallam, Lord Tennyson, in order to pay tribute to him, composed poems like In Memoriam, The Passing of Arthur, Ulysses, and Tithonus. He was appointed in 1850 as a poet laureate of England, and he died in 1892. So 1850 is one of the remarkable period of the year of Alfred Lord Tennyson's life. In this year, he was honored as a poet laureate. He was appointed a poet laureate in 1850. So this is the brief introduction of Alfred Lord Tennyson from Victorian age. So this poem, The Charge of the Light Brigade, was written by him when he heard an account of the British cavalry unit, that is a light brigade, during the Crimean War. So Crimean War that was fought between 1853 to 1856. So Crimean War was fought between Russians, and on the other hand there was alliance, British, French, and Ottoman Empire. They formed alliance and they were fighting against the Russian forces. So Crimean War that was fought between 1853 and 1856. So the poem has a reference of this Crimean War, and here the poet wrote an account of the bravery of Light Brigade of the British Empire, British force, this cavalry force who took part in this battle that was fought during the Crimean War, and the battle took place at the place called Balaclava. So the poem has a reference to the battle that was fought between the Russians and on the other hand the allied force. And the battle, here the poet refers to the Balaclava, where the battle was fought between these the Russian forces and the British cavalry unit. So the poet heard this account, poet heard the account of the bravery of the British soldiers and how they, without bothering about their life, performed their duties that was assigned to them. Here the poet, here the poet tells us about the bravery, here the poet tells about the commitment, here poet tells about the loyalty of the soldiers. On the order of their captain, on the order of their officers, 637 soldiers, 637 soldiers charged towards the gunmen of the Russian. And out of 637 soldiers, 247 soldiers were able to return. So all other soldiers had lost their life. And when this account was heard by Alfred Lord Tennyson, he composed the poem. So this poem is also considered a song of inspiration to the British soldiers. We are going to now discuss the poem. Half a league, half a league. The poet started the poem with a reference to the actual battlefield that was mentioned in the poem, that is mentioned in the poem. Here the poet starts with a repetition, half a league, half a league. So a league stands for 3 miles. So half a league, half a league, half a league, half a league onward. In the opening line of the poem, the repetition of half a league tells us about the exact position of the soldiers, how they have to go forward in order to complete the given task or complete the assigned duty to them by their unit. In the valley of death rode the 600. So in the valley of death here refers to the battlefield where the actual battle was take place. It refers to the terrain of Balaclava, where 600 soldiers rode on the horseback and they decided to perform the duty or to complete the task that was assigned to them. So half a league, onward, all in the valley of death. Valley of death here stands for this actual battlefield, Balaclava. The soldiers knew that they are not going to be back. They are not going to be there. They are not going to be returned to their unit, because this reference has given, because it is a place almost like a valley of death. They are surrounded by the enemies. The enemies are firing towards the persons or the soldiers who are on the horseback, and it was really difficult, it was really impossible for them to fight against the persons who are using firearms just by bare swords and or by riding on horseback. Rode the 600. So 600 here is a reference to the soldiers of the cavalry unit of the light brigade. Forward the light brigade, charge for the guns, he said. So they were given a duty, they were given the responsibility to destroy the gunners. They were assigned the task to kill the gunners, and here their officer, their captain ordered them to charge forward. He said here stands for their officer or their commander. Into the valley of death rode the 600. As soon as they were ordered to charge the gunmen, they were ordered to destroy the gunmen, without thinking about their own life, the 600 soldiers rode on a horseback and moved ahead into the valley of death. So they were certain, they were sure that they are not going to be alive when they are going to destroy or kill the gunmen. In the second stanza, once again the poet starts with, "Forward the light brigade, was their man dismayed." As soon as they heard the order, they have to kill the gunmen, they have to destroy the gunmen. None of the soldiers show the fear. Dismay means fear. None of them are scared of battlefield. None of them show that they are scared or there is some fear in their mind. Not though the soldier knew someone had blundered. No doubt it was a blunder. The order was given them to kill the gunmen. Order was given to them to vanish or destroy the gunners. But none of the soldiers raised their voice against this, and they didn't complain about it or didn't express any sort of grudge. And they decided to follow the order. They obeyed their captain, they obeyed their commander, they obeyed their officer. There's not to make reply, there's not to reason why, there's but to do and die. The next three lines tells us about what soldiers are expected to do. Here the duty of the soldiers, the role of the soldiers have been defined by the poet. So soldiers are not expected to answer. So soldiers are not expected to ask questions. Soldiers are not expected to raise their voice, and it is only their duty to follow the orders. It is only their task to complete whatever have been asked them by their officers or by their superiors. Theirs but to do and die. So either they have to complete the task or they have to lose their life, they have to die while attempting to fulfill the task. So soldiers, what is the task, what is the role of soldier have been defined by these three lines. Here the poet used the alliteration do and die. Figure of speech is used of alliteration. They have to either do or die. So sound d is repeated, do and die. So alliteration is here. Into the valley of death rode the 600. So the valley of death, this metaphor is dominant in the poem. Poet has used this metaphor evidently to show the horror of the wars. It also tells us about the commitment, it also tells about the loyalty, it also tells about how the soldiers performed their duty without raising their voice, without making any complaint, or without saying that whatever the order has been given to them, it is wrong. They know that it is a blunder, it is a mistake, but without complaining about it, the soldiers shows their commitment, shows their loyalty or honesty, and they charge towards the gunmen. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them. So here the word cannon is consecutively used in the opening sentences of three lines of the poem. So it is called as anaphora. Literary devices or figures of speech is anaphora. It means that the soldiers who are riding on horseback, they have been surrounded by the gunmen. There are the cannons from all sides. Cannons are in front of them. Cannons are to their left side and cannons are to their right side. It means they have been under attack from all directions and they are going to perform their duty. They are going to complete their duty just by bare swords and riding on the horseback. So it is not a fair battle. The persons who are in a valley, persons who are trained, they are on horseback, and only swords are there with them to fight against the gunmen. So that is why the writer here or the poet here used the dominant metaphor of valley of death. Holleyed and thundered. So Holid here stands for the discharge of firearms through the cannons or through the guns. Holid and thunder. Thunder here stands for the sound or the noise or the sound of the guns or the cannonballs. Storm at with a shot and shell. So here the author has used the figure of speech. We call it as alliteration. You can see here the storm with shot and shell. The sounds are repeated. So author here shows the horror of the battlefield. Here he shows the black side of the battlefield, where the soldiers on the order of their commander, they ride on the horseback, and everywhere there is sound of gun, everywhere there is a sound of cannons, and they have been shooted from all directions. Into the jaws of death, into the mouth of hell rode the 600. So they are going to meet their death. They are going to embrace their death. The jaws of death and into the mouth of hell here are personification. The jaws of death and mouth of hell, the literary devices or figure of speech used by the poet is personification. In the fourth stanza, here the poet tells us about the bravery of the cavalry unit or the light brigade. Flashed all their sabres bare, flashed as they turn in air, sabring the gunners there, charging an army, while all the world wondered. The poet here refers to the bravery that has been displayed by this light brigade. They charge towards the gunmen, they attack the gunmen, and with their sabers means swords, they started to kill the gunmen. So the army that they have been given the responsibility, or they have been asked to kill the gunmen, and they are performing their duty. All the world wonder, plunge into the battery smoke, right through the line they broke. Cossack and Russian reeled from the saber stroke, shattered and cindered. Then they rode back, but not the 600. So poet here tells us what happened in the battlefield of Balaclava. In Balaclava, the cavalry unit, the light brigade, was given the task to kill the gunmen, and as they received the order, they charged towards the gunmen and they showed their bravery. And it is a really difficult thing for the soldiers to fight against the gunmen. Most of the soldiers died in that battlefield, and that is why the author has used valley of death, into the jaws of death, into the mouth of death. So when they were about to charge the gunmen, they were 600, and after the completion of their task, when they marched towards their camp, they were not 600. It means most of the soldiers had lost their lives in the battlefield. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, holid and thundered. Once again, the poet here has used anaphora. The canon, the word canon has been consecutively repeated in the opening sentences. Three opening sentences, that is, cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon behind them, holid and thundered. The gunmen were attacking them, the gunmen were killing them, and the soldiers, after doing their there were returning to their destination. Storm at with a shot and shell. Once again there is a use of alliteration. The writer here writes storm at with shot and shell. Shell stands for the shell of bullet, shell of cannonball. While horse and hero fell. So hero fell here stands for the soldiers, the death of the soldiers. The many soldiers have lost their life because they have been killed, they have been attacked by the gunmen, they are in a valley, they are in a trench, and they have been surrounded by the gunmen, and many soldiers have fallen down, many soldiers were killed, many soldiers are injured in this fearful battle. That had fought so well came through the jaws of death, back from the mouth of hell. All that was left of them, left of 600. So just few soldiers were able to came back from the jaws of death, well able to return from the hell of death, and they were successful, they were able to save themselves life. And our author here mentions that those who fought well. So many of the soldiers at the time before the attacking, they were 600, but when the attack is over, they are not 600. Most of the soldiers were dead, most of the soldiers were killed in this battle. When can they glory fade? On the wild charge they made, all the world wondered. Honor the charge they made, honor the light brigade, noble 600. So all the world was wondered by the bravery that has been displayed by the British soldiers in the Crimean War, and the specific reference is given to the Battle of Balaclava, where the cavalry unit of the light brigade of the 600 soldiers, they fought bravely, and it has been mentioned as glory. The glory is never going to diminish, glory is never going to fade, because of the bravery, because of the courage that has been presented or shown by the soldiers in the battlefield. So author here mentioned them as noble 600. So in this poem, the author points out or shows the horror of war. It also shows us, it also tells us, or it also deals with the theme of the bravery of the soldiers. It also touches the aspect of how the soldiers should be committed. It tells us about it is the duty of soldiers to just follow the orders. They are not going to ask whether they are going to be safe and sound, whether they are going to be alive or dead. It is not their duty. Their duty is to complete the task that has been assigned to them by their nation or by their commander.